Mariah just made some interesting comments about her last album in a new interview. Let's take a look. Hey kids, Treacle here. Welcome back to my channel. Mariah has been taking some much deserved time off over the Christmas and New Year period. As we know, each year Mariah likes to go to Aspen, and she was quite active on social media, and she let us have a little peek into what she was up to and things like that. And then she went quiet, and I'm all for it. She could take a whole bunch of time off right now, and I wouldn't be mad at her. But we do know she's coming back soon because she did say MC30 would continue, and I hope she means at the top of this year. So hopefully she'll be back soon with more MC30 goodies. But we had a surprise. I had a surprise when I woke up today because Mariah has given a long interview on a podcast, and it's brand new. It sounds like it was recorded during her Aspen little retreat, and there's lots of goodies and things for us to enjoy. So this particular podcast is new to me, hadn't heard of it before, but all the lambs are all over the Questlove Supreme podcast. It's a weekly podcast hosted by the Roots drummer Questlove, and it describes itself as a fun, irreverent, and educational weekly podcast that digs deep into the stories of musical legends and cultural icons in a way that only Questlove and Team Supreme can deliver. Each episode is driven by conversation ranging from the guests' origins, along with a few never before revealed secrets to their success, to their life passions and current projects. This is not your typical interview show. So this was a very enjoyable listen today. It is 1 hour, 43 minutes long. I mean, a little bit less than that because there are ads and everything. So you've got about, I don't know, an hour 20, hour 25 of Mariah in conversation. And this is part one. There is a second part coming out. But in part one, she covers a range of things and she's not rushed. And this is what I love so much about this interview. These are my favorite Mariah moments, when she gets to go off on a tangent, but then come back to the original question. And she is in conversation with people who are knowledgeable, and they can have those deeper cut conversations and the stories behind songs, behind moments. And it's really satisfying. It's such a pleasant surprise because she's sharing stories that we've known before but going a little bit deeper, or just by repeating them again we learn it from a slightly different angle, but also we get some new perspectives as well. So if you haven't checked out this interview, you do need to go and check out the Questlove Supreme podcast and get involved, enjoy the whole interview. But specifically, we are going to jump on some of the comments she made about her last studio album, Caution. Part of the conversation in this interview was around Mariah's recording process and how she likes to go about recording her songs and making her albums, and about the music industry in general. And it kind of segued into a place where Mariah referred back to her process around the 2018 Caution album in terms of recording and releasing it. So here's what Mariah had to say.
Being off, kind of like taking off work, has really helped my voice, I think, in a lot of ways. Just being able to have like stress-free, and so I'm just like singing, and everyone's like, "Oh, you got to get back in the studio. Like, you got to like get back to singing." And I'm like, "I know." But
do you feel like getting back into it? I know you just put out Caution, in 2018, but are you kind of feeling the itch to drop some new shit?
Yes, but honestly, a different approach, and I don't even want to go into what it is, because when I did Caution, I love some of the songs from Caution, but I don't think I was at the place vocally where I could be now. Also, it was rushed. Not that it was rushed, and I'm not. Look, it's my best, most critically acclaimed album. I think that's because the critics have changed and shifted since back in the days. Like, believe it or not, if you look at those things, it's the most critically acclaimed album. But what I was going to say is that I didn't have the time I would normally take. And I really wish I did have that time to do a few more records on that album to just, fully have that expression. But what are you going to do? Like, it was a much more of like, oh, we got to get her back and have people know she put out a studio album. Then they screwed that up with the way they gave away these instant grats. Oh, we're going to do instant grats. Why? Just put this single out.
What's an instant grat? What is that?
Instant grat is when they give away a song rather than have it be a part of an album. So, and I just learned about this 2 years ago too.
Yeah, but labels start putting out red carpet records or red carpet singles just to announce an album is coming out without putting it on the record or whatever.
But here's the thing. If you do for your actual fans, right? Because the Lamely, they don't care about getting an instant grat. They just want to see the record do well. And they want to enjoy the music. So these stupid instant grats, and this is no shade to anybody, We know they didn't have to do it like that. Right. So like the Instagrass here, let's give away, what about an Instagram? Then they put out another Instagram. So at that point, you're like 3 singles in that you gave away for free when you could have just had a whole experience with your fans like this.
Caution was critically very well received, and it did rather well. I think across the board, the whole family seemed to be quite satisfied. It's very difficult to please everybody, but Caution seemed to do that. I was very surprised by the album. It seemed to not come out of nowhere, but I don't know. I didn't know what to expect or when to expect it, and when it landed, I just remember being very, very satisfied. I do remember thinking it's short because I'm not used to a 10-track album from Mariah these days. So I remember saying to a couple of friends, oh, that's the standard version. Give it a few months, then we'll have a deluxe version with some extra tracks. Nope, it was just the 10 tracks. So that was very surprising to me. I do remember at the time Mariah not being in love with the instant grap thing, and it's something I've discussed with a few Lamb friends of mine, and I can't remember the interview in which he said it, but I just remember that she wasn't in love with it because we had GTFO as like the hype single, then with You as the official single, and then if you pre-ordered the album, you could get another 2 songs as well, and I believe it was A No-No and The Distance. And that's 4 songs out of 10. So if you pre-ordered the album, as the weeks went on, you could get 40% of the album before it was out. So that is what is meant by instant grab. Pre-order, you get some freebies. And I remember there was some kind of comment or interview where Mariah was like, apparently we're doing this instant grab thing. I don't know how I feel about it, but apparently that's what we're doing. I just hope the album still does well. I hope the album is still, people are still looking forward to it after all these instant grabs we're doing. Something along those lines. If you guys can remember that comment or that interview, let me know, because I've been racking my brain and searching and I can't find it. But it's always been in the back of my mind. So I always remember that Mariah felt that way about how the album was delivered to fans and to everybody. And here she is, a couple of years on, talking about that. So that was really interesting to hear.
You know, when you talk about Caution, you know, I like the way that you were able to kind of do, you know, to compete with what, you know, the contemporary artists were doing, but it still sounded like you. And that was the thing I really liked about that record. It was Mariah, but it was like, yeah, this is her in this context. Like you had the record with Ty Dolla and Gunna and, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, she's still doing Mariah. And I think that, you know, for your fans, you know, for particularly of our generation, we just, you know, appreciated the way you came back and was showing like, yeah, I'm Mariah, but I can still bang with you motherfuckers.
Right.
I'm not, and by the way, my fans get really mad when they think I shade my own albums or songs. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, if it were, and I appreciate you saying those things about Caution, the album, because I really do like it as an album. But I'm saying, if to put it up against, like, and this is not even a fair analogy, but like Butterfly, I had all the time in the world. I went in there and did what I wanted. I worked in Florida. I worked in New York. I worked wherever I wanted, and really put the time into it. But with Caution and with the way the record industry is now, we don't have that luxury of time like we used to.
Not at all.
I found it really interesting. I love when Mariah is honest about her past work, and she says somewhere else in the interview, oh, fans get mad at me when I like drag my own songs, but I'm not. There's no hate on anything. I'm just being honest. And I think it's important that she does that. So it's interesting that she's looking back now, you know, 2 years later, and she's like, yeah, I feel this way about Caution. And she can be honest and blunt, and I'm only going to love her for that. I really want to know how she feels about it, especially Caution, because how she feels about her last album kind of shapes how she's going to move forward with the next one. So I find it interesting that she feels that Caution wasn't completely fully realized, and she could have done more vocally, or maybe it needed a few more songs. And it just gets me more excited for the 16th studio album. Lord knows when that's going to come. What did you think about Mariah's comments? Did you listen to the entire Love Quest Supreme interview? If you did, let me know what your favorite parts were in the comment section below. Mariah covered another couple of topics as well. There were many interesting things. So if you haven't listened to it, do go and check it out. Part 2 will be coming out, and I, for one, can't wait to listen. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss out on future content. Remember, I'm on Instagram and Twitter as TreacleTot, so I'll see you there, and I'll see you right back here again soon for another video. Cheers, thanks a lot.